So I did this for the 2021, or end of 2021, for the start of the 2022 season AFL trades, where I ranked them all the way from grading them from an A+ being the best to an F being the worst. Now I've done that with 2022, 2021. I'm now going to do all the AFL trades from the 2020 season. Starting off, I believe this is actually in order from first to the end for the trade window. Zac Langdon. Zac Langdon, he was a good player for GWS, and for West Coast, he has been relatively lackluster. Pick 54 given up, so not all that much. All things considered, I'm going to be giving that trade a B. Now, this is also after the COVID year, so I think a lot of clubs would have been a bit hesitant having or going for a massive player because financially all 18 clubs were crippled. So that is worth considering. We've got Oleg Markov going from my beloved club, the Richmond Tigers, to the Gold Coast Football Club. He eventually went straight to Collingwood from Gold Coast, so he didn't spend much time there at all in the Sunshine Coast. The trade, he wasn't getting gains to Richmond. We were too powerful of a side. It's unfortunate because if he waited a year or two, now that we're shit, he would have fitted in our side perfectly. We need speed. He's got speed off the halfback. We need him, but unfortunately we let him go around 3. So honestly, it was a good trade for Gold Coast at the time, but considering they'd let him go so quickly, clearly it didn't work out too well. We're going to be giving that trade a C. Jesse Hogan, wow, what a fall from grace. When he went from Melbourne to Fremantle, it was the talk of the town. He goes from Fremantle to GWS and his career is shot. It's seemingly done. Can he revive it? All the hype early on in his career, it had seemed to go to absolutely nothing. And he's gone to GWS and he's somewhat revived his career. Now he has recently come up kicking 9 goals against Essendon, which is an impressive feat for any forward line player. So clearly he has something left in the tank, but character issues and just issues with his sort of performances. All in all, that trade gets a C+. All things considered. Bit of a risk, but you know what? Has it paid off? I'm not too sure. Alright, next up, Carl Hardigan going from Adelaide to Hawthorn, where he only played 22 games. Yes, a round 4 was given up for him, which isn't much, but all things considered, he was old, career coming to an end. That trade gets a D. Peter Wright going from the Gold Coast Football Club to the Essendon Football Club. Lackluster at Gold Coast, could barely break into the side. Round 4 given up from Essendon to go to Essendon. And what an absolute revival of a career. This is what Jesse Hogan was hoping could happen in his career. He has been mammoth. He has been absolutely astronomically good. He has been monumental for them. Running out of superlatives to give him, but he's been that good and no one expected of it. I'm giving that trade an A+. Easily an A+. Probably the trade of the window. Mitch Hannon going from Melbourne to the Dogs. Yeah, look, it was sort of a role player going to another team to be a role player. Round 3, he's played quite a few games, 30 games thus far, so it hasn't been the worst, but it's pretty lackluster. I'm giving it a C. Brendan Bruce going from Melbourne to GWS, only played 10 games. Pick 31's actually quite high. We're going to be giving that trade an E. Stephen Martin and Lockie Young, a bit of movement here. Stephen Martin going from Brisbane to the Dogs. Yes, he only played 13 games, but he was good in that time period, and pick 63 was given up, so a very late round pick. I'm going to be giving that a trade a B. And then, look, Lockie Young going from the Dogs to North Melbourne. He has played a lot, but has been that good? He's been alright. We're going to be giving that trade a B. Lockie Fogarty going from the Geelong Cats to the Carlton Football Club, where he has played quite a bit of football. Surprisingly, well, at least a surprise to me. Not too much given up for him. All in all, I think a W for Carlton. We're going to be giving that trade a B+, all things considered. Nikaya Cockatoo, so much potential, but not really living up to it. He went from Geelong to the Brisbane Lions, where he's only played 15 games. Injury prone, inconsistent, couldn't get the form right, so couldn't break into the team quite a bit, so it has been lackluster. But that's what you get with Cockatoo, sort of an X-Factor player, but he hasn't been in. I'm going to be giving that trade a D because of the hype, and he hasn't lived up to it. Very controversial, Adam Sard going from rivals, going to Carlton from the Essendon Football Club. Wasn't happy at Essendon. Went to Carlton where, look, he probably became even less happy. Carlton got Sard, pick 48 and pick 78. Essendon got pick 8 and pick 87. So realistically, Sard and pick 48 for pick 8, I think is a massive W for Carlton. I think Essendon have been stiffed right there. Sard's been really good. He's played pretty much every game unless it's through injury for Carlton. So I've been impressed with him. He had to leave, and Essendon couldn't hold on to him because he was unhappy there. So there's not much else Essendon could have done. All in all, the trade, big W for Carlton. Another one, Lockie Fogarty as well. So Adam Sard gets a A. Aaliyah, this is definitely an A plus for me. Aaliyah has played 63 games so far, so he's played pretty much every game unless it was through suspension or injury. No form problems. He's been a rock for that defense in Port Adelaide, and they've been a great team since he's come in. A round 2 draft pick given up by Port Adelaide, so that is well worth it. It's a big dub. Shaun Higgins, he was old. He went from North Melbourne to Geelong in pursuit of success, in pursuit of a flag, but unfortunately the flag they wanted to use after 2020, he was not in that team. All in all, pick 30 is quite high. Geelong would have been hoping that pushed him over the edge. I mean, I guess you could argue that Higgins did help them eventually win a flag, albeit not being the team, but did he really? Not so sure about that. I think North Melbourne won this trade. We're going to be giving it a C. Journeyman Tom Hickey went from the West Coast Eagles to Sydney, where he's been sort of on and off. Sydney had never had good ruck, so it's not like he's been competing for that ruck place with a very good ruck. He's sort of just been playing there, here and there, having not so much impact. All in all, a pretty even trade. West Coast got some draft picks. Sydney got Hickey. Let's give that a B. Ben Brown, going from North Melbourne to Melbourne. Look, he was so good for North Melbourne, and then, unfortunately, he just lost it. He was getting nearly Coleman after Coleman, and then he just got shot. Not actually. Hopefully not. We're not in America, my God. But he just confident shot, and he turned into a shadow of himself. Goes to Melbourne, where they needed a forward. You know, Wiedemann wasn't taking the spot. Tom McDonald was injured. Ben Brown, it was there for the taking, mate, and he's kind of fumbled it. Look, it's sort of an L that North Melbourne lost him for so little, and it's sort of an L that Melbourne got him. So, all in all, the trade for everyone kind of sucked. No one really won. Let's give that a D. Jack Higgins, really sad. He'd left my club Richmond to go to St Kilda. We did get quite a bit. Pick 17 and a round 2 pick. St Kilda got Higgins, who's played nearly 60 games. Pick 21 in a round 4. All in all, I think St Kilda won because they have a very consistent player in Higgins. Heart and soul player, and is also good for the club. It's just a very fucking funny and nice guy. So all in all, I think that's a dub for St Kilda. I'm going to be giving that trade probably going to be giving it just an A, not quite an A+. Alex Witherden went from West Coast to, or not West Coast, went from the Brisbane Lions to West Coast. He was great for so long for Brisbane Lions, and then he sort of got kicked out the team. He goes to West Coast, where he's been playing pretty consistently. All in all, probably a dub for West Coast, giving that trade a B. The more I think about it, I'm grading these based off the team that bought them and sort of what was expected of them, right? So it's got nothing to do with the team that sold them. Nonetheless, we're going to move on to 2 players who joined North Melbourne, both from Collingwood. Atu Bosanavulagi, did I butcher that? And Jaden Stevenson. Stevo, look, so good for Collingwood and then dropped off a cliff, goes to North Melbourne, and he's sort of picked up a little bit. He's played a lot of games there, but he hasn't recaptured that form early on in his career at Collingwood. And then Atu, we'll just call him Atu because I'll butcher his surname. He hasn't played much at all. So the Atu trade gets a C, and then the Stevenson trade gets a B+. Orazio Fantasia. So much promise going from Essendon, where he was so good, to Port Adelaide. He's been injured, out of form, out of favour. Pick 29 given up for him. Really lackluster. Giving that trade a big fat D+, because look, Essendon got lucky and then Port Adelaide got unlucky. Tommy Phillips, kicked out of Collingwood to go to Hawthorn. He only played for a season, I'm pretty sure, then got delisted. All in all, pick 65 for him. Not much given up by Collingwood, not much gotten by Hawthorn. It's a lackluster C. Jai Caldwell, going from GWS to Essendon. I think this is a perfectly even trade. Caldwell, pick 44 and pick 74, going to Essendon. GWS got pick 29 and a round 2. All in all, who wins that? I would tend to say just Essendon by a little bit. So considering that Essendon went for him, Essendon won the trade, we're going to be giving that A, B+. Speeding things up, Adam Treloar, going from obviously the Collingwood Football Club to the Dogs, kicked out of Collingwood, where he said it on AFL 360 and on a lot of public domains, and he was there. Collingwood was his club. He wasn't going to leave. They weren't kicking him out. What are you worrying about, guys? Come on, I'm staying here. I'm here to stay. Oh, you're kicking me out. And he goes straight to the Dogs. The Dogs pick him up, already a stacked midfield, so it was hard for him to break in, but he's done well to break into it. A lot of jeopardy on this. Collingwood get pick 14 and a round 2, but the Dogs get Treloar. They get pick 26, 33 and 42, as well as a lot of the salary of Treloar being paid by Collingwood. All in all, a massive W for the Dogs, albeit they didn't really need much midfield depth at that time. that's an A. Jeremy Cameron, let's keep this simple. It's an A+. Yes, they gave up so much. I mean, Geelong got, well, to say first, he went from GWS to Geelong, obviously. Geelong gave up pick 13, 15, pick 20, and then a round 4. So that's 3 very early draft picks and a round 4. Geelong got obviously Jeremy Cameron. They got a round 2 and another round 2. So they actually dubbed up, I would say, probably a win for both. Jeremy Cameron was getting old, not old, but he was well into his prime by then. So not too big of a loss for GWS. All in all, he helped win Geelong a flag, and ultimately you have to be giving that an A+ if they are influential, or even as influential as Cameron was for that 2022 flag for Geelong. This trade window is way more stacked than 2021. We've got Nick Hind. He's been really good. Going from St Kilda to Essendon. I think he's dropped up a bit recently, but last year he was awesome. This year's been pretty good. A couple injuries here and there. I think that's a massive W for Essendon. We're going to be giving that an A+. That is all. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow the TikTok, FTFooty. Nearly at 5K there. We're getting close to it, or close to 4K. So make sure you go follow over there. Nonetheless, thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video.